Pokemon finally responded to Firestar73 saying that yes, he did not deserve to win the Pokemon Go 2026 Regional Championships for having this pop-off moment after he did actually win the tournament. To catch you guys up to speed that don't know, here is Firestar73 winning the Orlando Regional Pokemon Go Championship here, and he is excited that he actually got the dub. Apparently he did a comeback from the losers bracket and he was able to win the best of 5 match against Nighttime Clasher. But the issue is that his pop-off moment winning the best of 5 losers bracket, as you can see on the top right here, he is excited. He finally got the dub, knocked out the Corviknight with Hydro Cannon. He pops off, throws off his headset, and he is cheering to the crowd right now, just really excited that he actually won the tournament. He gave a handshake to his opponent, but as you can see in the background here, the judges looked a little worried. Both of the judges right here were both looking at Firestar, really concerned about what he just did. As you can see right here, after he won, we clearly saw him throw his headset on the ground. As you can see, Nighttime Catcher had his headset chilling right here, looking normal, but as you can see, the other headset right here from Firestar winning the match is broken, or at least it looks like it's broken, and the judges were not a big fan of that. So even though in the tournament, you'll see right here, they do crown him as the champion, the announcers are like, yo, Firestar73 is the champion. They did a follow-up hours later saying that he got his championship revoked because of his pop-off moment with throwing the headset on the table. So the day of, where Firestar73 did rightfully win the tournament, Pokemon made a follow-up statement saying like, hey, Firestar did not win the tournament because he broke the rules of breaking the headset, and because of that, they striped away his tournament winning and gave it to Nighttime Clasher instead. Understandably so, Firestar73 starts posting online saying that, hey, why the heck am I losing my tournament winning that I rightfully earned because of one's mistake of popping off and being excited that I won? So he wanted to go fight back Pokemon about it. And after the horrible news that Firestar was unable to actually win the tournament, even though he did, there's a lot of community support out there online, like Moist Critical talking about it, and a lot of other content creators talking about this horrible situation. And Firestar did a post saying like, hey, thank you guys so much for the support. I'm going to be releasing an interview soon talking about the fact of, hey, this is my experience from the tournament, and give you guys some more context of what the heck happened. And he did do that. So a couple weeks later, there was a post from Dexerto here saying that Pokemon Go player Firestar73 is challenging the ruling that he saw his Orlando Regional Championship title stripped from him due to his unsportsmanlike celebration. It was the kind of celebration that Play Pokemon repeatedly encouraged. His quote from Firestar right here. And again, when you do a tournament that you invested so much time into and you really want to win, the fact that he went from losers bracket all the way up to the grand finals and won, and then last minute his title got stripped away from him, understandably upset when he was just simply popping off and just really excited for the fact that he won the tournament. We had players like Hungrybox from Team Liquid that would win one of the craziest Smash Bros tournaments, and he just pops off like crazy. There's full compilations on YouTube of him just going ballistic in the grand finals right here. Grown awe man, just excited for the fact that he won a tournament, and that's okay. People should celebrate winning a match. It is a very big deal to try as hard as you can to win something that you put so much time and effort into, and understandably, it's okay to pop off and go crazy. Yes, it does suck that the headset got thrown on the table, but because they're disqualifying him over just him throwing a headset is really just unfortunate, because again, just when your emotions get overloaded, sometimes you don't have full control of your body because you're just so excited about what's happening here. And again, it's okay to celebrate. So it's really disappointing to see that Pokemon is just not doing an official statement and they're just kind of just leaving it as is. And again, he doesn't have the championship, even though he should be cemented in history for winning the Pokemon Go championship. But then we take a look later here, and it looks like Pokemon finally did an announcement, the statement regarding the Orlando Pokemon Regional Championships right here. And as you guys can see, there's a lot of people that are upset about this. This makes me scared to play competitive Pokemon. Unbelievable. Play Pokemon, give Firestar73 his title, or draw 25. Pokemon's drawing 25 right here. Somebody else was replying about this too, saying there's better ways to go about this. First warning is fair, but he just won a regional from the loser side of the bracket. Of course, any human with normal emotions gonna pop off. The match is literally over. He didn't destroy the stream setup or anything. So the last statement's a lie here. He did technically break the headset. I'm not gonna be surprised the headset that they provided for the tournaments did break. Pokemon is probably upset about that, but still, I completely agree with the fact that he won a regional from the loser side of the bracket. Of course, he would be excited. Now, fast forward today, here is a post officially from Play Pokemon just talking about a couple things that did happen at the Orlando Regional Championships. They first talked about something that was unrelated to Firestar73, but it was a similar situation. Apparently, during the Pokemon TCG Swiss Round 13, when they were doing the Pokemon Trading Card Game Tournament, there was an instance to where a player did throw the tournament headphones onto the table, and it did ruin the game state as a bunch of cards, damage counters, and a bunch of things got messed up, so they were unable to follow the game state. So what they did do is that the player that threw the headphones onto the table to mess up the match, they did issue a match loss to that person, and again, completely understandable right there. That is more extreme if it's in a middle of a match, not a grand final, somebody's throwing a fit on a game state. throwing the headset, breaking everything, that is understandable to be mad. That person got a match loss. Very understandably so. I don't know if this instance, though, did make the Pokemon judges get kind of upset about like, okay, why are all these Pokemon players that are playing these different Pokemon games throwing headsets, breaking headsets in the tournament matches? What's going on here? And then the follow-up here, here's the part where they actually mentioned about Firestar 73. So they stated right here in the second instance during the Pokemon Go Grand Finals, they like to share some extra information that may not have been known to the broader community. Prior to the final game incident, during Game 1 of the Bracket Reset series, a player was issued a warning for the action of hitting and shaking the table during gameplay. Actions such as these games can negatively impact the experience of participants that disturb the match in progress. And then during Game 5, the same behavior continued to be disruptive, including shaking the table to the point where there was a disruption onto the broadcast experience. These repeated infractions issued a penalty that was escalated to a game loss. So on one hand, I kind of agree right here. For Pokemon Go specifically, a lot of it is on your phone right here. And in the middle of the matches, you're supposed to be tapping the Pokemon a lot to deal damage and whatnot. And a opponent doing shaking the table can potentially disrupt you because some players will be playing leaned in with their arms on the table to be able to like kind of maintain control a little bit easier, to have more precise movement on playing on their phone. And I could potentially see that making a negative impact on the player. And they did warn the player specifically, Firestar 73 in this instance, as I'm going to be assuming from the wording of this document right here, that he did that multiple times to potentially disrupt the opponent, which if that is true, that is a partial reason why I could agree with Play Pokemon on the fact of like, hey, we probably shouldn't allow this behavior to continue happening here, because if people start picking up on the fact that you can kind of like move the tables around and cause disruption to the opponent that way, it could give you a game advantage that wasn't intended in the first place. On the flip side of things, though, I really feel like, though, the odds of them being able to disrupt somebody by simply, like, you know, tapping on their feet repeatedly, kind of moving the tables a lot, or like hitting their knees on the table to disrupt things, from how they kind of presented the Pokemon play area to be able to do these tournaments, I really don't see how the vibrations could disrupt another player. And again, not every player will be using their phone on their arms onto the table. They have a bunch of different techniques that they'll be able to use in order to play through the game. So again, there's not like 110% proof that it would disrupt player experience, but if it does, then I do agree the penalty is warranted. But the issue is, though, is that even though they warned the player about this and whatnot, that situation about shaking the table is different from what's happening right now. So where after the match was won, he was able to pop off, get really excited, and they gave him the DQ for the fact that he was popping off through the headset on the table, and they're just upset at him for the fact that they had the previous issues of moving the table, disrupting the broadcast, and then at the end of the tournament, they threw the headset onto the table. But again, that's a whole separate issue. And because he had a different issue earlier in the tournament that Pokemon was not a big fan of, and then there's a new issue that popped in, Pokemon was like, I had enough of Firestar 73, I'm going to give him the DQ, which is still really unfortunate because, again, you can tell that he was passionate about the tournament. Firestar 73 was super passionate about this and also just was really excited to win the tournament. And it is a little unfair that a whole separate issue popped up, but they still took away his championship, even though the end of that tournament to where he threw the headset onto the table didn't disrupt the gameplay experience. I think this would be different if he threw the headset in the middle of the match, because obviously that would be a disruption to the gameplay state. But no, this was the end of the tournament. He got the championship. You saw on the official broadcast, Firestar 73 did win. The fact that they took that away from him was pretty ridiculous. And again, Pokemon is like, hey, we're going to take this away from him, and the penalty is going to escalate to a game loss so that we can get Right the Catcher the better win for this right here because he played proper, yada, yada, yada. And again, I do feel bad for Firestar to a degree because, again, he is right here. The incident you are for the first time claiming the basis of the decision did not affect the gameplay at all, yet decided the entire tournament. Section 2.1 requires a clear explanation of any infraction as penalty, and I was never given this basis at all. So Firestar 73 is now claiming that when he was talking back and forth with the judges about infractions that was happening in the tournament, he never got a heads up about this at the final of the tournament of getting disqualified for breaking the headset. Or it's the fact that he's talking about the fact that earlier in the tournament to where he was potentially moving tables and causing a disruption into the game state, that they never gave him a clear explanation of this either. So again, it really does suck when it comes to this whole situation. Again, on one hand, I do think that if Firestar was like, you know, moving the tables a lot during the gameplay state in Pokemon Go at the championship tournament here in the regional tournament, again, I could see that disrupting gameplay functions here. But like, again, at the same time though, I feel bad for him because it did seem like he did rightfully win the tournament. And the fact that that they finalized the game, they said, yo, Firestar won. We got the official broadcast of here showing that he won. The caster said that, hey, the dude won. And then last minute off screen, they're like, nah, we're gonna pull it away because the judges were pissed off about this. It does really suck. Like, I do feel bad for him. So I'm kind of like 50-50 on the situation now that we have more context from Play Pokemon about this. And I'm not too sure about how I feel. And I wish I was there at the tournament to get like a proper like viewing of like, hey, what the heck happened? I'm also curious too if Knight the Catcher has anything to say about this. So I found the account Nighttime Clasher. It looks like when I was scrolling through his Twitter account here, he didn't mention anything about the tournament on his perspective on the whole situation between him and Firestar when it came to the Pokemon Go tournament. The tournament happened on April 6th, and seeing these tweets from April 4th and like just nothing. I even looked at the replies too, and there was like nothing of him replying to anything. The only thing I saw was that one of his close friends recognized his face when Dexerto did a post about the whole tournament stuff. But again, Nighttime Clasher didn't mention anything about the event itself, just the fact that one of his friends recognized him from a news article. So I was like, that's pretty cool. But yeah, you look at the replies right here, he didn't mention anything about it. And I wish that we got some more perspective from him on the whole situation here, because there's always three sides to a story. There's one side, there's the other side, and there's the truth. And I would really like to hear his side on the story on how his experience was facing against Firestar if it was a disruption to him. But the smart thing for this guy to do if he wants to rightfully earn the tournament winning and, you know, showcase the Luminosity, hey, we won the tournament, guys, let's go, is the fact of like, hey, stay silent about it. If Pokemon's going to give you the win, you take the win and you just move in silence, which is most likely what's going to happen here. And in that case, I feel like Nighttime Clasher probably does not care that Firestar got disqualified this way. Nighttime Clasher is like, hell yeah, bro, we got the dub, baby. But again, I wish we could hear his perspective so we can actually see if this was a true good decision for Play Pokemon or not, or whatever the case may be. But that's gonna do it for me on this news right here. I hope Firestar 73 gets his rightful win, but it's looking like that's not gonna be the case. If you guys did enjoy this video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comment section down below if you guys want to see more news videos like this, as I haven't done a video like this in a very long time. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.